It's time to spring into action. Summer is upon us, and if you don't act now, if you don't act fast, it'll blow right by. Gone are the days of crock-pot soups and stews and chilies. The weather is gorgeous, the sun is out, and that means gym tan laundry, baby. GTL. Or we can spring into action with some delicious food. Today, I've got a special one for you that is near and dear to both my heart and my stomach. I hope you enjoy this tasty little treat that can be served as an appetizer or as the main course. Here's what you're gonna need to make it. Okay, you are gonna need the following ingredients. We're gonna need some buttered lettuce, green onions, some cilantro, some julienne sliced carrots. If you don't have the time to do that, you can always buy the pre-sliced stuff at the grocery store. Your choice of protein, an English cucumber, and I've got a delicious sauce that we are gonna use to dip with our spring rolls. So don't go anywhere, because this dish is gonna send you into Flavor Town, baby. Look out, guy, coming for you. All right, so first things first, we need to prep our ingredients. To do that, a couple different things. Like I said, you can buy at the store the pre-julienne sliced, or they like to call them matchstick carrots. If you're looking for something quick, simple, fast and easy, this is the way to go. Otherwise, julienne slice your carrots. Now, your protein of choice, okay? I'm going with some imitation crab legs here. You could use shredded chicken. You could use cooked shrimp, okay? Here's how you're gonna do this. You're gonna take your crab leg, take a fork. You're going to kind of run it through the meat as to shred it. Okay, and this stuff is pretty easy, pretty shreddable, but you're essentially looking for something along that line, something that will, shred easy, okay? All right, so you've got your shredded crab legs there. We're gonna do another one here. And again, I'm just kind of ever so gently kind of running my fork through the crab leg. And it's creating these little like strips, these little strands that shred perfectly and will look nice and taste delicious when we are ready to assemble our spring rolls. Okay, that seems pretty good there. All right, next up. English cucumber, okay? Yes, I want you to use an English cucumber. The reason being, okay, regular cucumber is real seedy, a little bit more mushy. This has got a nice little crispness to it. Now, a couple different things that we're gonna do here. First things first is we're gonna take a section, okay? We don't need the whole thing. We're just gonna take a section like this. We're gonna cut it in half, like so, okay? Face down. And we're gonna cut these into about 1/4 inch size strips. Okay? Something that looks like that. Okay? Crisp, nice little bite. All right. So we'll do that with one. If you wanna go thinner, okay? And what's great about spring rolls, I find, is that really the inside of a spring roll kind of dependent upon you. You can add and omit ingredients based on your, flavor profile that you're going for, but also like If you don't like the taste of cucumber, don't add cucumber, right? So it really is entirely up to you. Okay, then I like green onion. So just gonna cut the ends off there. And I'm gonna cut these kind of on a bias into just bigger chunks. I would say maybe 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch. Okay, and these are just gonna go into our spring rolls. Okay, kind of set those off to the side there. All right. Then we've got some nice sprigs here of cilantro. We're just gonna pick and kind of lay this into our spring roll when we are ready to eat. Last thing here I want to show you is this delicious ginger peanut sauce that is gonna be what we dip our spring rolls into. It packs that creaminess, that tang, that flavor that'll go great with these fresh ingredients. So you're gonna need about 1 cup of your favorite ginger dressing. Okay, you can use Newman's, you can use any of the store-bought stuff. And you're gonna need about 2 very heaping, helping, large tablespoons worth of peanut butter. Okay, so into the bowl goes our ginger dressing, our 2 tablespoons of peanut butter. I would suggest you use creamy. Okay. If you like more of a nutty flavor, you could use the chunky stuff. More of a creamy guy myself, if you catch my drift. I like creamy peanut butter. That's what I'm trying to say. All right, so we're just gonna whisk to combined. We wanna make sure that everything is homogeneous. We wanna make sure that this is nice, well, and blended. We want that ginger snap, that creaminess of the peanut butter, okay? This should be a little bit thicker than the original ginger dressing, okay? Something like that, almost to a thicker consistency. If you want yours to be a little less thick, have a little bit more ginger dressing, okay? This is about where we want it, okay? Enough to where when we dip our spring roll in there, it's not just gonna be a wet mess dripping everywhere. It's gonna kind of hold some of that sauce together. Okay, then, last but not least, the assembly, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and gather up, organize all our ingredients so you can see how to assemble these tasty spring rolls. Don't go anywhere. Best part is yet to come. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, the best part, assembly, okay? So what you're gonna need is you're gonna want some sort of Vietnamese rice papers, okay? Then you're gonna want a shallow dish, okay? Preferably a dish that the rice paper can fit in comfortably, okay? You wanna make sure that everything gets nice and coated. You don't want any of the edges to be, still crispy while the inside soggy and whatnot. So take your rice paper, kind of feels a little waxy. It almost feels like lamination for all my teachers out there, okay? Put that into your shallow dish of water, okay? You want enough water just to coat said rice paper, okay? Now, I'm taking some of that water, and I'm kind of wetting down our cutting board here, so that way nothing sticks. Rice paper should be in there for about 10 to 15 seconds, okay? You want it to be pliable, okay, but not so soggy that when you pull it up, it just falls apart. It's an absolute mess, okay? And it'll kind of continue to soften and become more pliable as you work with it. So we'll give that about another, I'd say, maybe 5-10 more seconds, okay? And then we will begin our assembly here with all of our delicious and fresh ingredients. Okay, this rice paper feels perfect, okay? Lay that down. Now, on 1/2, okay, we are going to assemble our ingredients. Now, I'm using our matchstick julienne sliced carrots here. Going to add some of this delicious buttered lettuce. Gonna create a nice little bed there, okay? Few slices of our freshly sliced English cucumber. Few of those green onions. Then, optional, you don't have to add this. It is a little bit more traditional. If you take some rice noodles, you can buy this at your local grocery store, okay? Just follow the directions. Usually it's pretty quick. These noodles are very thin and easy to work with. Usually it's just a quick, put it in some boiling water for 3 minutes, take it out, instantly run cold water over it so that it doesn't overcook and become super mushy. And then finally, we're going to add a little bit of our cilantro over the top. Now, you could add your crab here. However, I'm going to add our crab onto the second half of our rice paper, and I will show you why here in just a second. You're going to then take your rice paper and fold over your veggies, okay, like so. Then you're going to fold in the corners ever so gently, almost like you're wrapping a burrito, you know, like you're working at Chipotle, slinging those tasty burritos. Then you're going to roll our veggie and rice paper mixture over the top of our noodles, and the reason being is so that our crab is beautifully displayed on top. This allows everyone that is eating to let them know, hey, these are crab spring rolls. You don't want it? Don't eat it, okay? Last, but certainly not least, is cross section. Cut beautifully on a diagonal. And much like you would see, take a look at that, huh? Now, serve these on a board of some sort. I suggest if you're serving these to a group of people, have a wet paper towel kind of draped over these because the rice paper will indeed dry out, and nobody wants that. Serve it with a side of your delicious ginger peanut dipping sauce, like so, and dig in, baby. Words cannot describe the freshness that this brings. This is summer right here. This is summer wrapped up in rice paper. You're welcome. I mean, can you ask for anything easier? Okay, just a few ingredients at the grocery store. A lot of this stuff probably sitting in your fridge right now. And that peanut sauce, 10 out of 10. A+ for effort, baby. I mean, it's creamy, but it has that little tang, that little bite of the ginger. Perfect. You could serve this as well with some soy sauce or some other delicious savory sauces. The choices are endless. But I'll tell you what, this right here is a meal fit for summer. Thank you so much for watching. What do you want to see me cook next? Stay tuned for some very exciting news that I have coming out where you'll be able to get any and all pieces of equipment that I use, different recipes, and much, much more. So be on the lookout for that. As always, I am Mr. C, the Cook and Teach. And this is Cook and Teach out.